Welcome to our deep dive into the lives of 5 notorious drug lords who wielded immense power and influence in the underworld. From Juan Garza's empire in the US to Jorge Ochoa's Medellin cartel and the violent reigns of Ramón Arellano Félix, Carlos Lehder, and Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo. From cartel chief to death row, the Juan Raul Garza saga. Juan Raul Garza, a significant figure in the realm of drug trafficking and law enforcement. Born in Mexico on November 18, 1956, Garza became involved in the illicit drug trade during the 1980s, operating primarily in Texas, USA. He gained notoriety as a key player in the Gulf Cartel's operations, focusing on smuggling large quantities of marijuana and cocaine into the United States. Garza's criminal activities brought him considerable wealth and power, but also drew the attention of law enforcement agencies. In 1993, he was arrested and later convicted on multiple charges, including drug trafficking and murder. His case gained national attention as it unfolded against the backdrop of the U.S. government's intensified efforts to combat drug trafficking. Despite appeals for clemency and international criticism, Juan Raul Garza was executed by lethal injection in 2001, becoming the second federal inmate to be executed in the United States since 1963. His life and subsequent execution sparked debates about the death penalty and the effectiveness of harsh punishments in deterring drug-related crimes. The rise and fall of Jorge Ochoa, from drug lord to redemption. Jorge Ochoa, a pivotal figure in the notorious Medellin cartel during the 1980s, born on September 30th, 1950 in Colombia. Ochoa, along with his brothers, Fabio and Juan David, played a significant role in shaping the global cocaine trade. Known for their business acumen and ruthless tactics, the Ochoa brothers were instrumental in establishing Colombia as a dominant force in the international drug market. Jorge Ochoa's rise to prominence came alongside the rise of the Medellin cartel, led by Pablo Escobar. The cartel's operations not only flooded the United States with cocaine, but also fueled violence and corruption in Colombia. Despite their criminal activities, the Ochoa brothers maintained a veneer of respectability in Colombian society. In the late 1980s, pressure from law enforcement and escalating violence prompted Jorge Ochoa to surrender to authorities. He later served a brief sentence in Colombia before being extradited to the United States in the early 1990s. After cooperating with U.S. authorities, Ochoa was released from prison in 1996. Today, Jorge Ochoa lives a quiet life away from the spotlight of his cartel days. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of involvement in organized crime and the enduring impact of the Medellin cartel on Colombian history. The legacy of violence. Ramón Arellano Félix and the Tijuana cartel. Ramón Arellano Félix, a key figure in Mexico's notorious Arellano Félix organization, AFO. Born on August 31st, 1964 in Sinaloa, Mexico. Ramón, alongside his brothers Benjamin, Javier, Eduardo, and Francisco Rafael, formed one of the most powerful drug cartels in Mexico during the 1980s and 1990s. Ramón Arellano Félix played a central role in the cartel's operations, overseeing the trafficking of cocaine, marijuana, and other drugs into the United States. Known for their ruthlessness and violent tactics, the AFO gained notoriety for their control over the Tijuana corridor, a crucial route for drug smuggling into California. Despite facing numerous law enforcement operations and rival cartel conflicts, Ramón remained a formidable leader within the AFO. His reputation for violence and his involvement in high-profile assassinations contributed to the cartel's fearsome reputation. In 2002, Ramón Arellano Félix was killed during a shootout with Mexican authorities in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, marking the end of his reign and the beginning of the cartel's decline. His death symbolized the ongoing battle between cartels and law enforcement in Mexico's drug war. From paradise to prison, the Carlos Lehder story. Carlos Lehder, a pivotal figure in the rise of the Medellin cartel and the cocaine trade in the 1970s and 1980s. Born on September 7th, 1949, in Colombia, to a German father and Colombian mother, Lehder co-founded the Medellin cartel alongside Pablo Escobar and others. revolutionizing the drug trade with innovative smuggling techniques. Carlos Lehder's entrepreneurial spirit and strategic vision propelled him to prominence within the cartel. He was instrumental in establishing smuggling routes between Colombia and the United States, particularly through his private island. Lehder's operation facilitated the transportation of tons of cocaine into the U.S., generating immense profits and solidifying his influence within the cartel. However, Lehder's flamboyant lifestyle and increasing violence associated with the Medellin cartel drew international attention and led to his eventual downfall. In 1987, he was arrested in Colombia and extradited to the United States, where he faced charges related to drug trafficking, money laundering, and conspiracy. Lehder's trial in the U.S. marked a significant moment in the war on drugs, highlighting the reach and impact of Colombian drug cartels. Today, Carlos Lehder remains incarcerated in the United States, serving a lengthy prison sentence inside the Guadalajara cartel. Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo's legacy. Carrillo, also known as Don Neto, a prominent figure in Mexico's drug trade during the late 20th century. Born on August 1st, 1930 in Sinaloa, Mexico, Fonseca Carrillo rose to power as a key member of the Guadalajara cartel, one of the country's earliest and most influential drug trafficking organizations. Don Neto, along with his associates, Miguel Angel, Felix Gallardo, and Rafael Caro Quintero, played a pivotal role in establishing the Guadalajara cartel's dominance in the 1970s and 1980s. Under their leadership, the cartel controlled major drug trafficking routes between Mexico and the United States, primarily smuggling marijuana and later transitioning to cocaine. Fonseca Carrillo's influence extended across Mexico's drug underworld, earning him both respect and fear among his peers. However, the cartel's activities attracted the attention of law enforcement agencies, leading to increased scrutiny and violent confrontations with rival cartels. In 1985, the cartel's operations were disrupted following the murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, which triggered a massive crackdown by Mexican and U.S. authorities. Fonseca Carrillo was arrested in 1985 and later sentenced to 40 years in prison for his involvement in Camarena's murder and drug trafficking charges. Today, Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo remains incarcerated in Mexico, serving his sentence